Ah yes, the famous mosaic of Emperor Justinian. But how did it get here, and what's the story behind it? Well, the mosaic can be found in the Basilica of San Vitale, in the city of Ravenna, and dates back to the 6th century, when the Eastern Roman Empire had reconquered Italy. Ravenna had been a Roman city since the 2nd century BC, but in the 5th century, the Roman Empire fell. Although in Italy, it wasn't quite that simple, more like under new management. A barbarian named Odoacer deposed the Western Roman Emperor, who was 11 years old, and essentially became the king of Italy. He then sent the imperial robes over to Constantinople, representing himself as a client of the Eastern Roman Emperor Zeno. This arrangement would not last very long, and would end when Zeno would send another barbarian to get rid of Odoacer. That man was the soon-to-be-great Theodoric. The two men then went to war, which lasted until they met in Ravenna to sign a treaty that made them co-rulers, only for Theodoric to kill him. Theodoric then established the kingdom of the Ostrogoths. Much like Odoacer before him, he preserved the Roman way of life. People living in this time would not be at fault for thinking that the Roman Empire had not fallen in Italy. One point of friction with the Romans was religion. The Ostrogoths were Arian Christians, making them the wrong kind of Christian. Theodoric even built his own Arian church. The sheer beauty of this basilica challenges the notions that all Gothic tribes were barbarian. Towards the end of his reign, tensions between Romans and Ostrogoths started to rise. This gave Emperor Justinian, who had been keeping an eye on Italy for a while, a reason to invade, which he did shortly after the death of Theodoric. For the glorious job of restoring the Roman Empire, there was no better man than Belisarius. This leads us to the Gothic Wars. These wars were fought over the Italian peninsula, but only succeeded in destroying it, as even the winners of the war were not able to hold on to Italy for very long. These wars can be seen as ending Roman way of life in Italy. When the Byzantines took Ravenna, they censored out any traces of Arian Christianity, even repurposing this mosaic to make it look like Justinian. But they're not fooling anyone, are they? The reconquest of Italy would not last long, and soon after the death of Justinian and Belisarius, it was conquered by the Lombards, leaving Italy to look like an unfinished jigsaw puzzle, not only being divided territorially, but also religiously. The peninsula would not reunify for over 1,000 years. This begs the question, were the Byzantines Greek or Roman? To understand, we have to go back to when Alexander yoinked the Persian Empire. This led to the spread of Greek language and culture in a process we now call Hellenization. As you can see, almost all the lands that were later held by the Byzantines were Hellenized. This resulted in Greek language and culture not only surviving under Roman rule, but thriving. So much so that Greek eventually overtook Latin as the official language of the Byzantine Empire. The Hellenization of the Eastern Roman Empire was so profound that it led to some people viewing them as a Greek empire rather than the Roman Empire. This is why we now have the term Byzantine. Looking at the lands that comprise the Byzantine Empire, we can see there's a stark resemblance with the original Greek settlements. And looking at the late Byzantines, looks just like modern-day Greece, apart from Constantinople. Despite often being unappreciated, the Byzantines still left an impressive legacy. Most notably, Orthodox Christianity. They're all about Jesus there. Byzantine works of art can be found all over the world, from Egypt to Venice. But one of the places with the most impressive Byzantine mosaics is Ravenna. Ravenna was once a city of great importance. In the medieval period, Ravenna was still a coastal city, with canals running through it, much like Venice today. This made the city easily defendable. Ravenna, like I mentioned earlier, is famous for its Byzantine mosaics and churches that are almost 2,000 years old.